Story 1. Yeah, I do. I've been alone almost all of my 20s, barely having flings. I know I can't be alone, especially now that I'm in the third year of my 30s, yet I still am. I don't want a wife just to say I have one either, nor do we have to get married. It's entirely about being able to share the life I live with someone I love as much as life itself. Also, around age 28, I went hiking up a mountain to take pictures of the new year and see the city I live in. Most of the fireworks were too far away for my camera. But sitting there at midnight, as one year rolled into the next, receiving messages of Happy New Year from friends and family, I looked out on the world. It was terrific. A big fireworks show is one thing, but sitting on a mountain, watching millions celebrate, hearing music from afar, and seeing fireworks light up the night, I have never fully been able to explain how fantastic that looks. It made me realize that I would rather share those events with someone than experience them alone again. Now, it's a memory only I have, and it's terribly lonely. Also, I really want someone else to remember what I need to buy for groceries. I am so tired of having to remember everything all the time. Story 2. I would have wanted to, but no one ever asked me to marry. I am 58 years old now, but I am still hopeful it will happen before I die. Story 3. Absolutely not. I cannot bear the weight and effort needed for constant communication, expectation, and commitment. Maybe I will eat my words though. Story 4. No. I realized long ago that I am much happier single than when in a relationship. I am not planning on ever getting married. Story 5. Yes, mostly because I am a hardcore loyalist to my partner and I do not want the legal obstacles of not being able to be by them or have a say. Also, tax cuts where I live. I also think it is meaningful to have a moment and an act that signifies our commitment to each other. I do not think it has to be a big deal. You could just go, sign the papers, and never let anyone know. Story 6. If I find a woman who understands me and I understand her too, I will share hobbies and interests with her as well. Story 7, kind of, but also not really. Based on what I have seen, there seem to be barely any positives to marriage but many negatives. I like the idea of going through life together with the person I love, sharing the good and the bad, being there for each other. However, I do not want to be contractually bound to it because marriage contracts in courts or law heavily favor one side and are easily abused, especially if children are involved. So yes, I do want to get married, but unless the laws and marriage contracts are adjusted or changed to be fair to both sides, I do not want to be bound by a marriage contract. Story 8. Ever since I was 15, I have made my peace with the fact that I will be alone until I die. That being said, if I met someone and she wanted to marry me, I would not have a problem with it. Story 9. I view getting married like getting a tattoo. You might want it in the moment, but what if you regret it later? Technically, you can get a tattoo removed, but it is a long and expensive process. Anything where the process of undoing a decision, if it turns out I do not like it, is an enormous cost to me, not just money but also time and emotional costs, is not worth it. To me, having an easy escape or backup plan should always be considered when doing something that will cause a major shift in my life. Puzzles me why more people do not consider this. The same logic applies even more to having children. Also, once you marry someone, they often start wanting children even if they were indifferent before, and I definitely do not want children. I change too much, and I am always prepared for future me to disagree heavily with my present preferences. Story 10. Yes, I am very happy with my boyfriend and I believe we will last long. Regarding marriage, the thought of becoming one with a person seems lovely to me. Being alone in life is fine for a while, but eventually we all want companionship. Finishing university, moving in together, getting married, and having children sounds right to me. Story 11. I did, but everything else in life is just way too expensive now. It is breaking people and priorities need to lie elsewhere, unfortunately. Story 12. No, never. Being single is the way to go. I am a loner, and me time is sacred to me. I do not much care for living under the same roof as another person. Story 13. Not really. In my country, there is little benefit if you have been with your partner for 2 years anyway. Story 14. Definitely. Success for its own sake does not seem appealing to me. I want to have someone to share it with. I want to be working towards something beyond my career. In my line of work, the money is already good without grinding until retirement. Having a family seems like the obvious thing to do. Story 15. I was convinced I would be single for the rest of my life and did not want to get married or have children until I met my current partner. He changed everything, and I will marry him and have his children. Story 16. I never did. I didn't see the point. Then my partner of more than 20 years and I got married. I am very happy and extremely content. I can't say why. I just love that she is happy. I am happy, so why not get married? Story 17. Yes, I did it. It is the best decision I ever made. My husband and I have been together for over a decade, and we got married 4 years ago. It was a simple wedding. The marriage is mainly for legal reasons, in case one of us passes before the other. It does not change anything in our daily lives, but we are glad we did it as it brings us closer. Story 18. No, though it does seem ridiculous to link various rights to whether or not I am involved. My mother got married to my father-in-law after about 20 years simply because it made retirement planning easier. Story 19. I used to be really against having kids. I didn't want my life to revolve around that. But then I met a man, and within the first week, he changed my mind without even talking about it. I would just imagine us living together, playing with our children, and letting them sleep in our bed. Later, we did talk about it, and I told him I was scared I wouldn't be a good mother. He reassured me otherwise. You really never know until you find the right person. But if that person isn't him, we broke up 2 years ago. Still, my mind is set on marrying and having children. Story 20. Yes, I would like to have children. I would like 3 if I am wealthy enough to support that many, and 2 if I am not. Story 21. I am married, so getting married again requires a divorce, and I do not desire that. Am I overthinking this question? Story 22. Due to trauma and being haunted by the consequences of my father, I think being married is not on my bucket list. I don't want to spend money on a wedding only for my husband to cheat on me. Story 23. Yes. I need a meaningful relationship, something real and honest, something that does not eventually end. Story 24. Not really. Marriage is too much work, and there are too many expectations and commitments that make it exhausting. I also feel like my life would no longer be entirely mine, and that is not something I am willing to do. Story 25. I am going to get married in 3 weeks. I just want to make sure she really does want me. To be honest, as someone who believes in life after this, I hope this will make it easier to find her again once this is all over. Maybe she will love me in the next world as well. Story 26. I do, but I kind of don't anymore. I'm burnt out from being rejected all the time, and people in general are just exhausting. Story 27. Yes. I honestly would like to spend my life with someone else. Even though romantic relationships are very difficult for me due to my autism and possibly aromanticism, I really want someone else to love for life. I would not mind if my future partner did not want to get married, as long as we stay happy together. Story 28. Countless relationships with men, and my current girlfriend is the first person to bring the desire for marriage out of me. I think I just want to celebrate us and her, and I know she will enjoy being celebrated as a woman in this way. So yes, I do, but whatever celebration we have will be very different from what is expected. Story 29. I would love to be married to my first love. Being single is amazing, but sometimes I want to share that solitude with someone I trust. I have been through difficult times, and I can prove that I can overcome them in the end. I deserve someone who is happy to see or hear me. I want to be happy to see or hear them. I look forward to seeing my future soon and making it a reality. Story 30. No, but I have been in a long-term relationship for 6 years, which I enjoy. It is going well. Why change anything? Story 31. No, I did it once. I do not need to do it again. When a relationship ends, you cannot just break up. You have to go through the entire divorce process. It was a really easy divorce, but why bother? The legal process puts unnecessary stress on the relationship. Have a wedding, have a reception, wear the dress, take the pictures, but do not sign the papers. I did not find any worthwhile financial benefits either. In fact, being a single parent allows me to receive more money back during taxes. Probably not a popular opinion, but an honest one. Story 32. I came out as asexual a few years ago after I became celibate in 2019. I have been through many traumatic and abusive relationships and situations involving men. I entertain the idea of dating women, but I am truly asexual. I am not romantically or sexually attracted to anyone anymore, and I don't think I ever truly was. It was all fueled by drugs and alcohol. I have moments when I grieve this life and dream about going to a wedding dress shop and trying on dresses just to see what I look like wearing one. I know I will never walk down the aisle with someone, but the little girl in me wants to see myself in a dream wedding gown. Maybe then I can truly grieve it because I know I am not made for marriage or having children. I am living the same reality as many young women today. We are living a different reality, and mine is about freedom, peace, freedom of choice, and as little responsibility as possible when it comes to other living beings, other than cats. In summary, no, I don't want to get married, but I dream of trying on wedding gowns at a shop. That would require me to lie about being engaged, and I don't know if I can do that or waste someone's time unless I tip them, which I'm not sure is appropriate. Story 33. Not really, no. I do not want to tether myself to someone that I am eventually going to resent. Many of the marriages I see, particularly those with children, are failures and look and sound miserable. They either end up in a stressful divorce, infidelity, or they are just miserable and hate each other but stay together for the children or due to the lost cause fallacy. I will be damned if I end up like my parents, who should have been divorced a long time ago. I will be damned if I get cheated on by my husband, my life partner. If I am ever foolish enough to trust someone to the point of considering marriage, there must be a rock-solid prenuptial agreement before I say yes to anything. Story 34. I am a 24-year-old male and really have no idea. I am currently not dating and not putting effort into finding a girlfriend either. I am not the type who does not believe in marriages, so it is more of a single life versus marriage debate in my head. Story 35. I've been married twice and had a few long-term relationships. The benefits of marriage do not compare to the negatives of divorce. Divorces are hard, expensive, and painful. People almost always have hurt feelings, and hurt people hurt others, specifically those they feel responsible for causing pain. It does not matter if it is their fault or yours. They blame you and will take it out on you. If you are a man like I am, family and the court of public opinion are heavily biased toward women. I did not have much to lose during my first 2 marriages. I lost it all. Now I have something to lose. I have built myself up quite a bit. It is absolutely not worth the risk. You may think, you just need to find a good woman. Yes, keep dreaming. First of all, finding a good person is nearly impossible. Divorce turns people into demons. Lawyers and jaded friends influence even the nicest people. Combined with the hurt in their hearts, they will be unfair 99 times out of 100. Story 36. I won't because there are no laws in India protecting men. If she abuses me or rapes me, I cannot file a complaint because legally men cannot be raped or assaulted by women. Moreover, if she files a false case regarding any crime, half of my assets could be taken by her. Also, if she gets pregnant by another man, it is legally my obligation to take care of that child instead of the actual father. Women have too much power here and it is intimidating. Story 37. Yes, but only with the right person. I have been in plenty of relationships and thought they would all lead to marriage at some point. I realized it actually takes effort to get there and that I was with the wrong people all along. I do not want to be divorced. The idea of being alone forever makes me sad, but at the same time, I do not want to be stuck in an unhappy relationship again. Story 38. Yes, because in all honesty, I would feel better if my partner could not just dump me on the spot. However, I think that is an issue I should probably work through before I actually get married. Story 39. I'm already married. So no, I don't want to get married again because I would like to stay married, and planning a wedding was a lot of work and stress. I love being married. It's really another level of commitment. But for the wedding itself, don't worry too much about the details. I thought everything would have to be perfect, but in the end, I just cared about marrying my husband and having our loved ones celebrating with us. Story 40. Yes, because I read romance novels where their weddings are wonderful, and because I see some couples in real life who have beautiful weddings. I am not sure if it will happen because I have very high standards for someone I am going to spend the rest of my life with, and with how life is currently, I do not really see any men who feel like they are worth it. But I would love to have a partner I love and get to spend every waking moment with my best friend. Story 41. I do, but I am terrified of choosing the wrong person. Both of my sisters were divorced before age 30, and my brother is gay. I put a lot of the responsibility on my own shoulders to be the model for a healthy relationship. The girl I am with now is great, but her family is difficult. That is my main concern. People have told me, "You are not marrying her family." Yes, actually, I very much am. Story 42. Yes, I want to. For me, marriage is a bond that you choose and sustain throughout your life. Your partner is the person who holds your hand in difficult moments, but is also there when things are going well. It is a commitment that can be amazing if you work on it. I know many people might say that you can have this without getting married, but for me, signing that paper is important. My boyfriend and I will not get married in a religious building, but I believe the spiritual connection is still there. Story 43. No, I think of marriage as a social construct that does not really matter for anything but tax benefits. If I had a partner I loved and marriage was important to them, I would do it though. All hypothetical, of course. Story 44. I would rather share my life with someone than do it alone. Love is what keeps you young and alive. There is no substitute. Story 45. Initially, I thought no. However, recently some things have happened that changed me. It does not matter what happened. What matters is that I realized with the right person, I would do anything, even get remarried. When I was younger, I always wanted that movie love. Then bad experiences made me believe it was not real. Unbelievably, at 41 years old, I believe it is real again. You just have to find that one person, your person. You love them so much that you would be willing to go on any adventure with them. The person whose presence makes you feel more alive than you ever have before. Story 46. I am not sure. I do not really have any desire to get married. My partner also does not know if they want to get married. Story 47. Talk to your married friends and ask them if they would do it all over again. Watch as many of them pause and crinkle their faces before giving their answers, and see if you can feel what they really believe. Story 48. No, why? 40 to 50% of marriages end in divorce. In my opinion, marriage only limits your life options. Living with a partner long-term and mutually supporting each other, sure. Legally binding marriage, no thanks. Story 49. I would be fine with it if I found the right person. I am not against marriage. It is just often a rigged game right now. It would take a lot of trust to make it happen, but I am willing to entertain the idea. If I were to have children, it would certainly be a good idea. I am also fine with not getting married. It looks like that is where things are going. Story 50. Initially, yes, I waited for years to get proposed to and married, but life happens, and I separated from my longtime partner. Now, I cannot imagine myself being married to another person. Story 51. I want to be self-actualized and have someone who can support me and help me grow every step of the way, and vice versa, of course. Story 52. My mother had 4 children and was pregnant with her 5th before she got married. That marriage to my father lasted about 8 years, so I never grew up with much respect for the institution. It seems unwise to sign a piece of paper promising not to break up with someone. If you want to break up, why would you not? Story 53. These days, marriage looks difficult, but when my parents split up when I was a child, I told myself I did not want any potential child of mine to grow up without both of their parents. So it became a kind of promise and dream of mine. As a promise, I planned on marrying the first and hopefully only woman I have a child with. As a dream, I wanted a wife, 1 or 2 children, a car, a house, a cat, and a dog. Currently, I have an apartment, 3 cats, and a car. I am missing a partner and children. I will probably die alone too, but it is whatever at this point. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.